Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. Over the next 40 minutes, we'll be talking about changing the way you lead. Just to check you are in the right place if this is what you signed up for. Today, we're being joined by myself, my colleagues. I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves. So, Mike, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Mike Kennard. Afternoon, everybody. I'm the Programme Director for the Manchester Leadership Development Programme, and I also teach the Strategy and Innovation Day within the programme.
Thank you, Mike. Abby.
Hi, everyone. I'm Abby, and I work as part of the Executive Education team. I'm the marketing officer, so I'm responsible for promoting our executive education programmes across a number of channels.
Thank you, Abby. And I'm Kieran. Hi, folks. So I work on client relations. So most people who come on the program will have a conversation with me at some point about, the program duration and how it runs. So listen, thank you once again for joining us. I can see lots of international locations. It's great to see people coming back. And as things return to normal, we will be welcoming more of our overseas visitors on campus in the coming weeks and months. So what are we going to cover today? Right, we're going to keep fairly tight agenda. I'm going to talk a little bit about changing the way you lead, and then I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Dr. Mike Kennard, who's going to talk about the program. But we've left quite a bit of time because there's a couple of faces you can see that we've invited back. So these are people who've been on the program in the past, and they're going to share their stories with you, so you can hear how wonderful the program is from us, but you can also hear what it's actually like to be on the program from them. At the very end, we'll also have a short section for any question and answers. And as we go through, if you have got questions, either about the program, the pricing, or indeed you've got questions about the experience, what it's like to be on the program, pop them in the chat. And yes, you are going to have a copy of the recording as we go. Okay, so without further ado, we will begin. So this section is about changing the way you lead. So let's think a moment about how a lot of us lead as leaders or managers. It's a shocking statistic, but about 4 out of every 5 managers in the UK don't have any formal management qualification. Now, we're not shaming anybody. This is actually a very common state of affairs. I hold my hands up. I've been and held a management position without any formal training whatsoever. And I was what you would call an accidental manager and committed all sorts of failures and problems very early on in my career. So it's a very common situation. You know, I think Abby has sent some messages out about winning it, not winging it. And again, we're not shaming anybody here. Most managers, they get promoted because they're good at what they do, and they find themselves in a new position, and sometimes without an awful lot of training. So it's a very, very common situation. And I just wanted to share a quote with you from a recent delegate on one of the programs, and take a minute to read it because I think it's quite powerful. And this particular individual said, look, I want to come on this program because I've kind of been doing this management thing for a while now, and I've got no idea if I'm doing it right. I've got no idea what bits I'm doing well, and I've got no idea about the theory that sits behind this. You know, why is that working and why doesn't that work? So again, if you choose to come on this program, you're in very, very good company. You'll be part of a group of people who've said, I know there are things that I can improve. I can improve myself and I can improve as a leader. So that's very important. When we look at why people come on the program, it's this sort of comment that we hear a lot of the time. These are good people who've been promoted. They get to a level of professional development, and actually they haven't been given the training all of the time that they really want. So when we talk about changing the way you lead, a lot of people experience that the very first time they get promoted. You know, if you start at a level of an individual contributor, and then you find yourself the boss of individual contributors, some of the behaviors, some of the skills, the knowledge you need changes. And if you carry on doing things the way you used to when you were just a team member, you often find that you can come unstuck or hit problems. Again, I hold my hands up, I've done it. And I like this quote. It's actually a book by a chap called Marshall Goldsmith that says, what got you here won't get you there. This idea that just either being promoted as a manager, the things that you did to get yourself promoted will be different to the things you need to do to be good in post. Or similarly, if you're already a manager, to develop, the things that you did at the beginning of your career might have to be different for the things to continue your development. But how do you do that? How do you develop? You know, we don't always get given the training. You learn from peers. You might have a coach. But today, what we're going to look at, and I'm glad you're here, the reason, how do you gain these new skills? How do you change the way you lead? Well, here you go. The Manchester Leadership Development Programme has been designed specifically to bridge this gap. The people who come on this program are competent, capable, professional managers. They just want more. They want more skills. They want more theory. They want to become even better. And those are the people who join us on the program. So I'm going to shut up for a while, and the real detail on the program is going to be handed over to my colleague, Dr. Mike Kennard. Mike, over to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Kieran. And this concept of the accidental manager is something that I can relate to myself. So I joined Rolls-Royce Aero Engines as a graduate trainee, and then kind of fell into management. And at Rolls-Royce, if you don't set fire to something or blow something up, then you become a more senior manager, and then a more senior manager. And I went through about sort of 10 years or so of this before thinking I really should get some actual genuine knowledge and skills and qualifications around management. So I went back to university to do a university course for that, and from that point started working for universities in various kind of academic and program director type roles. So I'm a real firm believer that education and expanding knowledge and boundaries can really make people more effective as leaders and more effective as managers. So when I came to Manchester in 2019, I was very pleased to have this opportunity to lead the Manchester Leadership Development Programme, which I'll just outline in a bit more detail in the next few slides. So next slide, please. So the programme has several components. So the first one, right at the top, there's an online learning portal. We use a system called Blackboard. So all of the training materials, all of the pre-work, access to additional materials is available to you 24/7 through Blackboard as a participant within the program. The talk content, there's 5 days. It runs Monday to Friday. So first day, leadership and practice. Following on from that, leading teams and talent. Then finance for managers, strategy and innovation, and then finally project management. So the leadership and practice takes a real detailed look at our own leadership experience, leadership styles, leadership preferences. We ask participants to complete what's called a Hogan psychometric assessment, so you can get a real deep insight into leadership, and that's discussed within the group. So what you'll find in the program, there's some kind of knowledge and expertise within the facilitator who's leading each day, but there's a huge resource within the classroom as well. So we take people from all types of organizations. It could be large kind of international companies like Stagecoach, it could be SMEs, it could be public sector, private sector. So there's a huge resource within the classroom itself to explore some of these really important and interesting aspects around leadership. Following from that, for day 2, leading teams and talent. So this is leading others. So I think the days where the leader, whether you're a team leader or a departmental leader or even an organizational leader, the days when you just told everybody what to do and they got on and did it and you succeeded through that, it's long gone. The world is far too complicated, far too complex, far too fast moving for any one person to have all the answers to everything. So you're far more reliant on your team, but leading others can be very difficult. How do you get the best out of your team? How can you delegate effectively? How can you develop your team so that they become stronger and more competent? Day 3, we thought quite hard about the curriculum, but this is finance for managers. In my experience, certainly in academia, as things like MBA director at Aston, I know that many people are quite apprehensive around this topic of finance if they don't have a finance background, but it's really important to understand how finance and the numbers fit into the overall organizational strategy and inform decision makers. And we have a very good visiting fellow to come in to deliver this day, and it's almost always the case that people come in maybe slightly nervous, but by the end of the day they're exposed to cash flow, balance sheets, profit and loss, and how that contributes to understanding where a company is going and understanding how managers and leaders make better and more qualified and informed decisions. Day 4, strategy and innovation. So strategy, very important for all organizations. How do you understand that strategic environment? How can you understand strategy from different perspectives and pull together a strategy that will give you an advantage in the marketplace, or will allow you to become more effective and more efficient if you're in the public sector. And in the second half of the day, innovation. So how can we become more robust around the future? How can we launch new products, new services, new business models, new processes, new ways of thinking that will make us stronger and more competitive in the future? And the important thing about strategy and innovation, as I say at the start of my day, is they've really got to be integrated. An organizational strategy that doesn't integrate with innovation is going to be inherently weak. And kind of conversely, if you're doing some really good work around innovation, but that work isn't hardwired into the overall organizational strategy, it's not going to be as successful as you would otherwise hope. And the final day, project management. So this is all about getting things done. It's about execution. It's about implementation. So a huge part of leadership is, how do you push things forward? It's okay having the greatest strategy in the world, but if you can't actually implement it, if you can't move things forward, you're not going to be very successful or very effective. Moving down, so there's an option for a level 7 award accredited by the ILM. So level 7 in the UK is postgraduate level, and if you choose that option, you will work on a project within your organization, either looking at an opportunity or looking at a challenge within your organization, and then writing that up as a reflective practice paper. There's also an opportunity for leadership coaching. So we offer 3 coaching sessions with some external coaches who we've used for many years now. They're very, very good. And it's an opportunity to go into more detail around your leadership style and get more insights into how to develop and how to take yourself forward. So next slide, please. So, the programs, it's all about impact for yourself as an individual, but also a positive impact for your organization. So for yourself, well, it's new leadership skills, new ways of thinking, tied into the latest practitioner and also research understanding, having greater confidence to handle difficult situations within the workplace, opportunity for a professional qualification in leadership. You also get access to University of Manchester's executive network. So once you come onto the program, we'll give you invites to interesting talks and keynotes within Alliance Manchester Business School, and also career development. So using this as either giving you the insights to develop your career, or as a catalyst to take your career forward. For organizations, well, it seems an obvious thing, but having more effective leaders is important for organizations. And, in practice, that's very, very difficult to do. And this program contributes to achieving that. Having applied practical skills. And, this is a really important part of the program. What we teach are things that you can actually use in the organization to support the organization. If your organization is about to go through a change program, or if it's repositioning itself, particularly after coming through the pandemic, then this can be a catalyst for people to come onto the course to contribute to that. If you're looking to grow, if you're looking to become more productive, we cover those aspects within the program. Retaining talent is an important and an interesting one. So question that I'm often asked is, well, what if we train our people and they leave? And what I always say is, well, what if you don't train them and they stay? That's not so good either. But what you find is that when organizations invest in the training and development of their people, it's more likely that those people will stay within your organization because they feel that they're being developed, they feel that they're taking themselves forward. And then finally, the business project. So putting people on the program and going through the award element of the program, they'll actually work on a real live problem or opportunity or challenge within the organization and come up with some real solutions for that. So there's additional benefits to the organization through the project. Next slide, please. So summary of what you take away, it's new skills, certificate of completion from University of Manchester, opportunity for a level 7 award through the ILM, opportunity for coaching, access to the e-learning platform. And I think you maintain that access for around about 2 years after the program. And part of that is access to the e-library, which contains all the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that mankind has developed over the last 100 years. And then finally, opportunity to join the executive network, so you get opportunity to come back to the university and benefit from keynotes and social events. Next slide, please. So there's a range of options. So the full program includes all the taught materials, the VLE, the coaching, and also the level 7 award. So that's 4,990. But you can tailor it to your specific requirements. Some people just want to do the modules and the coaching. Some people might just want to do the modules and the level 7 award. Or some people might want to come in and just do the 5-day taught program. So you can choose the option which is most appropriate for yourselves. Next slide, please. So the duration, it's a 5-day program, Monday to Friday. There is some pre-work required, particularly completing the Hogan assessment, and you get access to that through the VLE. If you take the coaching option, that's 3 coaching sessions over a 3-month period. If you take the level 7 award option, generally between sort of 3 and 6 months, but you have up to 2 years to complete that. You also get support from myself and the business school through things like action learning sets. And if you want to have a Zoom with me to sort of discuss a particular aspect or send an email to get some clarification on something, that's all totally fine as well. The next sessions, well, the next one, it's quite soon. So 4th of July, there's 6 places available. If you are interested in this, please don't leave it till the 3rd of July. Because there's a kind of pre-session induction and some pre-work, so you really need to register for that first maybe 2nd week of June at the latest. And if you want to do that, I'd be very, very pleased to welcome you onto the program. The following one is the 3rd of October, which has currently 13 places available. And if you want to kick it into the long grass and give yourself a Christmas present, the following one from that is 22nd of February 2023, and as you'd expect, most places are available for that session, 20 places at the moment. Next slide, please. So I've talked about how amazing the program is, and of course I'm the program director, so that's the way I think, but we also after each taught session and the program as a whole, we take evaluation questionnaires from all of the past delegates. And we look at both scores against 5, and we also look at what people actually say about the program on those questionnaires. So at the moment, teaching quality, 4.9 out of 5, which gives me a great sense of satisfaction as a program director, and also someone who teaches on the program, because the teaching, it is high quality, and that's against all 5 of the sessions, which has been an interesting one. So there hasn't been any variation between the 5 sessions that we run. Another thing we look at is the overall quality of the program. This is everything. This is the teaching, the organization, the facilities, the executive education center, the quality of the catering, the quality of the administrative support, the quality of the online support, the induction. So everything that contributes to the program is measured. And again, that's 4.9 out of 5. Some comments that previous delegates have said. So really useful, very engaging delivery, great mixture of content and interactivity. And this is really, really important, so if you've had experience of maybe undergraduate teaching, maybe it's been more of a kind of transmission where you sit in a classroom with 100 people and someone is out the front talking for an hour and then they leave. This is completely different, so the maximum number of people we have in any running of the MLDP is around about 24, and for sure you'll have someone at the front, but it's more around guiding through these topic areas and having kind of discussion and activities and cases which kind of reinforce the learning, and also gives you the opportunity to learn from the other people within the room, which is a kind of vast and varied and diverse resource. Excellent, very useful. Course delivery was excellent, and my favorite comment, genuinely one of the best lecturers I have had throughout the entirety of my academic career. That wasn't me, although I'm pretty good at teaching as well. So next slide, please. Yeah, okay. So I think we're going to hand over back to Abby and have this opportunity. I'm really pleased that Enir and Leanne have taken the time and the opportunity to very generously come in to talk about their experiences on the programme. So over to you, Abby.
Great, thanks, Mike. So yeah, as Mike mentioned, we are joined today by two of our past Manchester Leadership Development Programme delegates. So we've got Leanne, so she was on the June 2021 cohort, and we've also got Anir, who was on the October 2021 cohort. So if you've got any questions for either Leanne or Anir, if you could just pop those in the chat function. So I'll now hand over to Leanne and Anir just to do some introductions. So Anir, if you want to start.
Hiya, my name's Enid Hinson. I'm currently a team manager within a local authority in North Wales, working within social services, and I've been a leader and a manager for about 20 years. Different roles, team manager, section manager, service manager for 7 years, and then changed roles again back to team manager. So, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the course, so that's why I've volunteered to come along today and share our experience with you.
Thank you. And Leanne?
Yeah, hi, my name is Leanne Davis. I work for local authority in public health. I've managed equally as long for about 20 years in various roles across the NHS and local authority. My current role is Assistant Director in Public Health, which is fairly new. Probably tell you a bit more about that as the questions progress.
Great, thank you. So Leanne, first question is for you. So why did you decide to undertake a leadership development programme?
So basically I was thinking about my next career move, what I was going to do next, and I knew there was some opportunities that were going to come up in the place where I'm currently working, and I wanted to put myself in the best possible position when those opportunities came up, so that I would feel, you know, ready to apply. So I wanted to build some confidence. I also wanted a qualification that was that postgraduate level, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to get some good learning. I also wanted to kind of move into that more strategic thinking. I'd been quite operational before, so I wanted to, and feedback I'd had actually from other interviews prior was that I needed to think a bit more strategically and express that more in interviews. So it's not that I wasn't aware of what strategic was, but it was how you communicate that, especially in an interview. So yeah, it was really all those things that made me think, what can I do? So looking for different opportunities, and this was one that popped up that really appealed.
Brilliant. So would you say that after completing the programme, you did feel in a better position to apply for a promotion? Yes,
definitely. So I think once I'd completed, I definitely felt more confident in my leadership skills, and I continue to build on that as well. So I think it's really important if you do a course like this, it's great and it was over a week, but I think don't stop there would be my advice as well. Continue to build on that. So I did some additional coaching post the course as well. I did the full course, so I did the qualification and the coaching, so I got the 3 sessions, and that was really useful, but I felt like I needed a little bit more. And also journaling, I think, really helped me. So I've always been a bit of a personal journaler, but I think through coaching, one of the things that was suggested was that you do some journaling around your job as well. So at the end of each day, what you know, some events that have happened, what you've learned from that, what you could have done better. So that really helped, and also increasing your self-awareness. So the Hogan exercise that you do at the beginning that Mike described, it really helps you to have a look at yourself, know your own strengths, the areas that you need to be more aware of, you know, when you're talking to other people and managing and leading.
Brilliant, thank you. And Anir, what were your motivations for coming on the programme?
I think similar really, but my experience was a little bit unique, that I'd been in leadership and management for a long time, and as you say, you kind of become competent as a manager, don't you? So then you get opportunities in terms of progression to leadership roles. But I don't think I'd fully understood the difference between management and leadership. It is very different. and nobody prepares you for that really. And I did have quite an unique experience where I had a failure with, I was a strategic manager for 7 years and done it very competently, but then had, you know, quite a big failure the last year of my career. However, it kind of enabled me to start researching really and just think from a growth mindset. Okay, I've learned from it. You know, how can I now kind of pivot in terms of looking for the next chapter really? So I found myself kind of researching. I did a lot of research on LinkedIn, contacted a lot of other senior managers to see what they recommended. And I was kind of signposted towards this program, but also I just got in touch. I think I Googled Manchester University, had a chat with Kieran. The marketing's not too pushy either, I really like that. I'm quite severely dyslexic, so I wanted to make sure that the program kind of met my learning style. And after the pandemic as well, I wanted to make face-to-face. So I think the combination of it being face-to-face, that it really suited my learning style of having the direct delivery to me in a classroom environment with professionals from all kind of walks of life really, in different organisations, really appealed. So yeah, that was my motivation for coming on the course. Brilliant,
thank you. So Anir, do you think that the programme has had quite a big impact on you as a leader?
I think it's been, I know it's a bit corny, but I'd say it's been quite transformational really for me personally. I think having the theory, obviously I'd read a lot of leadership books and you can read it and some of the theories conflicting each other. So I think having the programme set out as it does with all the categories that kind of Mike's giving an overview of, it really comprehends all that learning into kind of one platform, and it gives you that knowledge, the skills, and the competencies then in order to perform at a really high level. And gives you the confidence and the belief in yourself, really, and that self-awareness, I think, in terms of your strengths, really, and also if there are weaknesses, you know, what are you doing about them? Yeah.
Brilliant. And Leanne, how has the programme impacted you as a leader?
Well, I think I talked before about being more confident. So yeah, for sure. I have applied for a new job and been successful, and I think that as this assistant director, and everything that I've done in terms of the course and all the continued learning has definitely contributed to that. It's the first time I've actually gone into an interview and felt really prepared and quite calm about it. I've always had a bit of a blocker about interviews, but I just felt that so confident, particularly in my leadership style and how I could talk about that it was just a really good experience, which is, you know, hard to say sometimes when you're going through like a high level interview. But it's been really positive, and I would echo everything as well that Inez said. You know, you saw my little thumbs up, but yeah, I feel exactly the same.
Good, brilliant, and congratulations on the promotion as well. So it's good to hear, you know, that the program's kind of had like a direct contribution to your promotion as well. So would either of you, so Anir and Leanne, would you say that kind of things have changed within the organisation since you've completed the programme? You know, is there anything that you've learned that you were able to take, you know, from the programme into your organisation?
I think in terms
who wants to start?
Go on, Anir, you start.
Do you want to go? I think just in terms of project development, you know, it's huge in any public sector, isn't it? And I'm sure Leanne's service is very similar. But in the local authority, we're always having kind of new bids, kind of transformational money coming in nationally, regionally, locally. So putting all that development into project management and into the project plan that you get, the project initiation document, stakeholder kind of influences, etc. All these tools that you get from the course, you can then bring those back to the workplace and embed those with your managers, practitioners, and get your team in place really in order to deliver those projects successfully. I think the other thing that we did, and it was really timely after the course, we had a service day, and part of the service day was bringing the whole service together, where we did what's the vision, what's the value base, what's the organisational objectives and the goals, and what are our priorities and challenges over the next 12 months. And I think had I not been on the course, I think I would have struggled with some of that. But it was so fresh in my head and I had all the tools to do it, and it was a massively successful day, really. We did like a 360-degree evaluation of the whole service and shared it with the whole team, and they were really passionate about it. And I think you could see that in them, so you felt like almost the orchestra of kind of that team, really. It was really powerful.
Brilliant. And Leanne?
Quite similar in some ways, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So it's such a big organisation that I've not managed to change anything organisationally wide yet, but I'm going to. But in terms of the public health service, what was really helpful was learning about different leadership styles, and I learned about distributive leadership and incomplete leaders, how we're all incomplete leaders. But what that means is that you can look at your team and identify the different skills and knowledge that your team have got and fill those gaps, because no leader can have the technical ability in every area, but it's how you use your team to do that. So we've been looking at doing an exercise for strength finding within the team. So again, we're going to be doing an away day, but we'll be looking at the whole team and doing a strength finder exercise so we can be really clear on what the skills we have got, and then how we distribute work amongst the team. So that's been really helpful, and that's definitely one way that the service will operate much more efficiently and effectively.
Brilliant. And then this is a question for both of you again. What did you enjoy most about the programme?
Shall I go?
What were your highlights?
I'll go first then. I think we've covered some of it, but the face-to-face element for me was great. I did the course back in June, so it was in between COVID lockdowns, so it was lovely to have face-to-face. The fact that there was people from all different industries, different backgrounds, that was really good to hear their experiences and how different things were. The different topics, breadth of topics that Mike's been through, really helpful. And the fact that somebody different presented each of those topics, so somebody who was an expert or very knowledgeable in those areas, so every day we had a different person as well, which keeps it fresh and just really interesting, and they were all really great people. And I think also doing the assignment for the level 7 qualification, because it really brought that learning to life. So we'd done this week, we talked about all these different areas, we were sent away really supported, and we had a really clear guidance about what we had to do and how we had to set it out. So it was really helpful, and then we took it back to the workplace and actually applied everything and then wrote about it. So it kind of just brought everything together. So I think all those things were highlights for me.
Great. Anir?
Yeah, kind of reflect everything that Leanne said, but also the coaching sessions, I found those really helpful. I'd engaged in quite a lot of coaching before coming on the course, and also carried it on afterwards. But I think just that ability to kind of reflect on some of the learning on the course, and then that ability, just to, I think, because it's over 3 sessions as well, you kind of build on what are your goals really following the course, what do you want to do next, enables that kind of career pathway for you really, or just to consider what your challenges are or what your strengths are and what you want to work on. I think the work-based project's really helpful as well, because there's almost so much information that 5 days, it is really intense, it's really enjoyable, but it's a lot to take in. So almost the work-based project allows a bit of space. You get back into the workplace, you reflect on everything you've learned, and then it all starts kind of getting into place in terms in your memory. And it all starts making a lot of sense really, and then your work-based project is around the 2 core areas of the actual course that you focus on. So that was really good, and just being immersed with lots of different professionals, multi kind of layers of leaders and managers across the country, different countries. I think we had somebody from Saudi Arabia as well. So yeah, international candidates as well as local and national as well. Yeah.
Brilliant. And then just the last question, So do you have any advice for anybody that's looking to apply for the Manchester Leadership Development Programme in the future?
I mean, I would say go for it. If you've been thinking about it, I would just definitely say if you want to kind of elevate to the next level, or you're just thinking about a change in jobs, it will give you those fundamentals. Definitely go for it. But like I said before, what I would say is definitely don't let your learning end at the end of the course. If you do the coaching or not, continue to really try and embed your learning, because that's what really helps you to progress to that next level and implement all the learning. So if you can do that, then I highly recommend.
And you've also got access to the tools after you finish as well. Anir?
Sure, what Leanne's answered it so well. I'm not sure what I can contribute, to be honest, but yeah, just absolutely invest in yourselves, get the organisation to invest in you. It's one of the best things you'll ever do. It is really manageable, the 5 days, taking 5 days out of your busy schedule when it's your whole career at stake. Absolutely invest in yourself. It's probably the best investment you'll ever make. But I think also just really think about your work-based project as well. Make sure it's something important to the organisation, to your manager. Make sure it's going to make a huge difference, and something that you're really passionate about, because it'll just come out in terms of it's very easy to talk about it, to do the work when it's something you're extremely passionate about anyway. And maybe just engage in the ongoing webinars. They're really helpful. Mike's given kind of 3 afterwards. I've engaged in them, I've enjoyed them. I've wanted to keep in touch, really. I think that's it.
Brilliant, thank you. And has anybody got any other questions for Leanne or Anir? If you want to pop those in the chat.
I haven't seen anything. I've been gripped and riveted by the conversation here. What I would say is, to anybody thinking about the program, as much as you get to learn from brilliant academics like Mike, led by Mike, and all the academics who teach on the program, you'll also be in the company of people like Leanne and Anir. People like yourself who have made an investment in themselves, and you're in the company of people who want to learn, and you learn as much from each other sometimes as you learn from the academics on the program. Okay, listen, thank you both for that. That's been phenomenal. Been absolutely riveted by that. Hopefully you can send more people just like you. Have you got brothers, sisters, friends, families who can come on the program as well? Because we'd love to have you back. Just a last sort of couple of minutes, if there's any questions about the program, please pop them in the chat. One of the common questions we get asked is, do you have to have any qualifications to come on the program? The answer is no, you don't. We want people to be able to access all the material, and it's probably better for people who've already got some management experience. As you've heard from both Anir and Leanne, it's not their first time. They've got considerable management and leadership experience. This is really for those people in the middle of wanting to kind of step up and progress. If you're looking for a very first time leadership or management role, this probably isn't the right course, but there are other courses available to suit. Another question we sometimes get asked is this program funded by the Apprenticeship Levy? Unfortunately, it's not. Apprenticeship Levy funded programs are very prescriptive. They have to be a certain length, they have to contain certain elements of a curriculum, and they've got a lot more rules about them. This we try and keep open so we can attract international clientele, because we want that diversity, that mix of people in the room. And we also then have the freedom to sort of set the curriculum as we think it should be set for this program. So it isn't funded by the English Apprenticeship Levy. I can't think of any other common questions that we get asked. Mike, Abby, any other questions you think we get asked?
No, I think you've covered those. So it's important for people considering to come to the program that they have an amount of kind of management and leadership experience, because the way we run the program, it's all about critical reflection and kind of discussion and sharing with the other delegates. So someone who hadn't yet been a manager or hadn't yet had responsibility for leading wouldn't quite get the same value out of the program.
Yeah, absolutely right. We're about trying to get people to extract the maximum value from the program. Okay, well, I think that's just about us at time, but just to say we have got some additional resources available that will be in the slide pack if you want to go back and watch other webinars or visit the website. But for now, for those of you who joined us live, thank you very much. Go off and have some lunch now. We intend to. To my colleagues, thank you. And also importantly to our past delegates in here, and Leanne couldn't have done this without you. Very, very grateful. And for those of you watching asynchronously at home, we missed you. Where were you? No, but if you want to get in touch with us, please just follow the links on the website. And if you want to speak to any member of the team, please reach out to us. So for the rest of you, have a very pleasant rest of the day, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.